Today I want to talk about how to create break lines. So the purpose of break lines is to demonstrate this or to cut the size of an object down for the purpose of being able to have other views be larger. So as you know, when you create an orthographic or a multi-view drawing, you have your front, top, and right side. In this case, because this object's round, I only have to worry about a front and a top. And of course my isometric. But the problem is the top view is really, really small. And that's because in order to fit the front view, because the front view is 2 feet long, we had to shrink this down. So what we can do is we can actually cut our front view so then we can increase the scale. So I'm going to start with just increasing my scale. So excuse me while I get to my document. There we go. I'll go to properties here. And I'll change the scale to 1 to 3. So as you can see, when I do that, everything kind of blows up. And we'll talk about the isometric in a minute, but I'll concentrate on my front and top view. So as you can see, my top view is easier to see. It's better, is more visible. So what I can do is I can cut the length of this, but it won't cut the measurement. Okay, so to do that, I'm going to go over to break view. And I'm going to choose vertical or horizontal. Basically, that means what direction are the break lines. So right now, it wants to break it across it as opposed to height-wise. So I'm going to change it to horizontal. You can change the type of break lines, and some of these have significance, some of them don't. I just stick with zigzag. That seems to be the typical version of break lines. And you can also change the gap, and that'll make sense when you see how this works. So I'm going to select, and I'm going to keep the holes visible, but I'm going to select right below and above each hole. And then it shortens down our view. Now make sure you hit the green check mark. If you just escape, it won't stay there. And you can also, like I said, this is where the gap makes sense. This has a 1/2 inch gap. If you want to make it smaller or larger, you can do so. So I'm going to hit the green check mark, and I'm going to drag my view back up. Now I'll just show you, like I said, this is 2 feet long, and obviously it's now much shorter. But when you go to dimension it, it now still demonstrates that it's 24 inches or 2 feet long. So it doesn't lose its shape or its dimensions as far as the drawing is concerned, but this makes it so you can see details of other views that you normally wouldn't see without changing that. Okay, the other item I wanted to show you is the isometric. Obviously, because of the size of this, I don't want to put a break line on my isometric. So with this, you can just individually go to view properties and change the scale for this. This is absolutely allowed. And I think 1 to 10, that might be a little too small. Let's try 1 to 6. There we go. So you still see detail of it, and you see it full size and shape, but that works there. Now the other item I wanted to show you is when you do a break line, understand that this only works for something that has repeated dimensions. So for instance, this had this whole empty space in between the two holes. If it had holes all the way throughout and they were equal distance, you could put the distance in between two of them and just indicate that it's repeated. That way, that would save you that space as well. Okay, I hope this helps, and I hope you have a wonderful day.